Welcome back once again, Red Blue Gamers. We are going to try something very interesting. Now, in front of me I have the Soulblight Grey shade. So I want to try to see if this works over the top of this known oil that I've put in on all the legs and pants of these Fire Warriors to see what kind of colour we get. Whether it's going to work or whether the known oil test, which I was kind of thoroughly feeling okay with, whether it's not really lived up to the hype that I was gaining from what I'd done. So we'll quickly just do what's called a test model. We'll see how well the this shade works over the top of what I've already done. So whether or not it improves, enhances, or lowers the quality, which hopefully is not the case, because I'd be quite happy if this actually helped, considering I'm trying to figure out what the best case scenario was for these actual breaches, because I didn't really want to paint black on their pants, their legs. I found it was going to be a touch boring. So maybe, just maybe, this may actually be my answer. We have one, we'll see what happens. I will try it on a second one because I am slightly impatient, and this guy has got slightly more clothing exposed on one arm, which to me means that I have the opportunity to get more of this down and onto a surface, even if I did get it in places I didn't want to get it. But if this is the case, this is the way it's working, we will really try, and I will definitely try this out and see how much this benefits what I'm doing, because if it really does give some purpose and colour to what I'm trying to do, I may have found my as they call it, might have found my paint technique, or army colour, which again, those two things are very important when it comes to how your army comes together. So if you've got a painting technique or a colour scheme's the word I was after, that you're extremely happy with, and it's working for you, then I think just maybe for the one that's dry, I'm going to continue with another one. Oh, here we go. because I think that I'm actually liking this this colour pattern palette, possibly. Whether or not it, once it's dry, if it actually does what I want it to, which with the heater being up as warm as it is, because it's a very cold day here, it might be sooner rather than later if I know that I know that I've got what I wanted. Mind you, because of the colour of the two, the Noan oil and this Soul Blight grey, fixing any little errors I made where the other colours kind of got a little bit too wayward, might be too hard. So I guess we can might actually be right where I needed to. I don't exactly want to go and paint these guys with, like, say, snakebite leather or for instance, that kind of colour, because it was just make life almost just completely and utterly difficult for no reason. Because both those colours are extremely dark, and I really want something that honestly won't stand out in. You know, these guys are on a planet covered in snow. Like, they don't want everyone and sundry seeing what they're doing, seeing where they are. They're trying their very darndest to hide. And so I think this Noan oil washed over with this grey is, I know that they're both technically shades, but I think it's going to provide just the right colour palette for these models. You're not holding a gun like you're a nufty. In the wrong spot. Alright, there's 4 down. We've got a few more to go, so let's get into this. And let's not mess about. Because I do thoroughly think that I am quite happy with, now that I've gone down this path, with the way it's panning out, because of the colour palette of, the colour of the Noan oil for one. Because of its colour, how well it hooked into the white, really darkened everything up. I feel like this is actually really assisting me. Oh, we might after we've Right. 5 down. I would say I'll get these 5 done, but to be honest with you all, I think I need to go to bed. I'm feeling slightly sleepy. All right. Trooper down. Trooper down. And I know that I'm getting quite, to be honest, quite struggling with this. Just finding it a touch hard to focus on such the tiniest details because I am feeling a little sleepy. And so I need to get this done as quickly as I can, even though I can come back to this tomorrow. Or the next day, or the day after that, or day after that, you know, it's one of those. Painting all these little guys is one of those things that there's no real timestamp on in terms of how long it will take me. Although I do have a slight requirement to be done in September. So I need to make sure that I've got all the required models painted by then and touched up and based and, you know, ready to rock and roll. All right. Three to go, and well, this will be a decent sized video, so as per normal, I'm not really saying much right now because I'm focusing on getting these models painted. But so I hope everyone's been well. I do know that the poll has been pretty heavily voted on in terms of what kind of content you guys want to see, because that's what I asked. So shortly enough, I will get into actually fulfilling that poll that I posted and responding to the request for some of the content, which will be good fun. I definitely think that the playstyle one will be interesting, mainly because it will always depend on the army you're playing, and for me it depends on my opponent. Now, in terms of that, I know that if I get an opponent that is not as experienced as I am, I will be much more aggressive. If I get an army that's slow, that I feel confident against, again, I will be much more aggressive in terms of pushing that army to do whatever that is they do. So I'll push the opposition player to make decisions quicker. And it also depends on what army I'm playing. If I'm playing my Dark Angels, especially with my company of hunters, given the fact that I can get across the board very quickly, I tend to look to be very aggressive, given the ability to, fall back, shoot, charge, fall back, have anti-monster, anti-vehicle weaponry in terms of both melee and shooting to a degree, given that, you're shooting with T9 Las Talons, especially when you're running the Thunder Strike to give you +1 to wound against monsters and vehicles. You're shooting with an S8 weapon at when you overcharge, which you do, becomes S9. So, if you do happen to fire into a toughness 9 vehicle, if you are firing it into, even if you are deciding to fire your plasma talons into toughness 4 or 5, it makes a big difference to be able to be aggressive and attack aggressively to get where you need to get to. But that will be a whole another video on its own, much more in depth than that 30-second, well, a bit more than 30-second grab, but you know what I mean. Quick waffle on. This is the last one of these guys, so I am quite excited at the moment, because as soon as I've done this, I am going to actually probably end up finding the time to go and have a snooze. Give my eyes a rest so I can get into some more stuff tomorrow around maybe some more painting, definitely some gluing, so that I can glue a couple of bits and pieces because I need to. But yeah, just do the last few touch-ups on this guy, which again, I like his colour of his sleeves and fingers and whatnot. This grey, soul-black grey, really shade paint more than anything, is really doing a good number on this model. It's really helping me out, getting me to get colours in spots I had anticipated, and even trying something that I didn't think I would do either. So there's that one, that is done. Let's make sure this is clipped down properly. There we go, lovely. They've all had, you know, another lick of paint to a degree. But yeah, as you can see, we're trying something new on these guys. Here is the model that started it all off. So the plan will be get something like this pro acrylic and thin it down, just turn it into a bit of a wash, then go in, maybe we go back in with the glacier contrast, and yeah, finish off with a dry brush of, well, the Ermic blue, or even, you know, something like this, the sunrise blue, super bright. But yeah, anyway, you know the drill. If you like what I do, give us a like, give us a follow, subscribe. We have Facebook and Instagram pages, which is where I post some photos where I remember to do it. But yeah, as for that, that is all for now. Peace out.